Hi and welcome to episode 8 of my second Sunday skateboarding sessions. It's the 10-part skateboarding series where I run through Braille Skateboarding Made Simples Volume 1 tricks and try to get better or learn each one of those tricks. So within that we've got the ollie, we've got frontside 180 ollie, backside 180 ollie, pop shove it, frontside pop shove it, heel flip and kick flip. And every second Sunday I record my progress, and in between those Sundays I try to get as much practice in through the week as I can. So I'm going to completely own it this week. I didn't get hardly any sessions in through the week in the last fortnight. I've been pretty busy, and because we're no longer on daylight savings, by the time I am getting out and getting in my time to skate, it's getting dark, so that sort of completely throws me quite a bit. But despite that, I did get at least one session in, and I think we're sort of still on track, and I'll have some sort of little improvement I can sort of document here today. For this particular episode, because it's episode 8 and we've got 2 more to go after this, I thought I'd be pretty strict with what I show on camera and maybe do my 5 best attempts at each trick, whereas previously I've sort of pretty much included almost every attempt. So hopefully you'll stick around and watch me do my 5 best attempts at each trick for this episode, and we'll come back at the end and sort of see how I feel about it. But today's a pretty good day. I'm not rushed. It's just before lunchtime. It is a bit windy, which is going to be a bit of a hassle. I don't like skating in wind, but we'll see how I go. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to get on with it. Okay, so let's just get started and do some ollies. Leave that there for ollies. We'll move on to frontside 180 ollies. Not bad for first one of the day. That'll do for 180. I think I got a good 5 attempts in there somewhere. Move on to backside 180 ollie. Might start with some stationary ones of these just to get the ollie technique happening. I'm still not great at these, but we're getting there. See, I'm getting most of the way around on standing still one. Alright, so moving. I might add, it is still a tiny bit of a hill going up that way, which I think is part of the reason why on my 180s I'm just coming to a bit of a stop. Probably use more speed to overcome that, but we're still working on just getting the 180 technique in. I think that's it for backside ollies. I think there was one really good one in there. It's better than usual, and overall I'm getting more rotation on those than I used to, so I think that's an improvement there. Now we're on to pop shove-it. So pop shove-it's are actually a trick that I have learnt through this series. I couldn't do them at all when I first started, and now they're getting close to being consistent from standing position, and I can sort of do them moving really slow, but having said that, I'll probably not land these first few, so here we go. Standing ones to begin with. And you'll notice I'm doing my standing ones straight onto the concrete, not onto the grass next to the driveway like I did when I first started. So I don't think I'm actually popping them, it's more of just a shove-it, but I'm still happy with that. Let's try some moving. So I'm pretty happy with all of those, and I might even break my rule for this video of just showing the 5 best and showing every single pop shove-it I did, considering that's a trick that I've learnt in this series, and evidently I'm landing pretty consistently because I didn't put my feet on the ground for any of those. I think landed them all, so that's one trick, one new trick from the series. Now we'll get on to frontside pop shove-its. I'm getting close on, but I think I've only landed one, could say, on camera. That was pretty much a fluke, but we'll see how we go. Again, I'm going to start with stationary ones, just to try and get where my feet are going. See how we go. I land like this a lot, part of my heel on. A lot of it's just a question of getting my heel out the way. Ah, that was almost it. Oh, be careful not to lean too far forward, evidently. I was going to kill myself. That was close. All toes on here, but not bad. Alright, we'll try some moving. I'm not expecting to land any moving ones, but it's promising that I got pretty close on my stationary ones. I'll leave that there. Surprisingly got a few close ones there with my back heel back on the board, but let's move on to heel flips. Now, I've definitely not practiced my heel flips in the last fortnight, but we're just going to keep on with the principle of trying to listen for the pop sound and scraping more forward than out that way. It seemed to be working for me last time, so obviously stationary first. There we go. Alright, let's try some moving. I don't think that's going to get any better, so let's move on to kickflips. Okay, so just like heel flips, I haven't been practicing my kickflips, but I would say of the two I have a better chance of landing a kickflip, so we'll see how we go. So as usual, stationary ones first, and doing the same thing here, concentrating on listening for the pop and then clicking more forward rather than to the side. Wow. I'm going to try some of these moving. We've had a couple of close calls there for landing them. I will say I was watching a video with John Hill. You know him, he's a professional skateboarder. And I was watching him just do warm-ups with his kickflips. And the way he does them, you see him come in and do a kickflip just like it's nothing, like it's really casual. Skates in, does a flip, skates away like it's pretty much nothing, and it probably is to him. I'm just trying to do mine with that similar mindset that kickflip isn't that big a trick and I shouldn't be making that big a deal of it in my head. So I'm trying not to do really big motions and really put too much effort into the flick and all that, in the hope that it gives me a bit more control. Whether it's working or not is another thing, but do some moving ones and then we'll wrap up. That was my old style kickflip where I can pretty much do it every time and just land like that. That's because I'm flipping down instead of forward. I think I'm going to leave that there and let's get into the closing wrap up. Okay, so I was pretty happy with that session considering I've had barely any practice in the last fortnight, maybe one session at most. I don't know what's going on with my ollies, they seem to be all over the place, but it's not a trick I'm worried about. It's just sometimes I do good ollies, sometimes I do ones and top pocket both my feet, so it is what it is. Frontside 180s, that used to be one of my go-to tricks back in the day. I could do them without any problems at all. They're okay here, I don't get any height on them when I do them now. And it's difficult to keep rolling in this driveway, which does have that little bit of a hill that sort of stops you when you're doing a 180 going so slow as what I am. But I was really happy with my backside 180s that I did today. I think this particular episode, those were some of the best backside 180s that I've done since I've started. They're looking really good. I'm getting pretty much most of the way around now. I just got to work on rolling fakie once you come out of them, but again, I've got that little bit of a hill problem and probably just need more speed to overcome that. I pop shuv-its, which are probably more just shuv-its than pop shuv-its. I don't feel I'm properly popping them, even though they're probably getting off the ground. But I'm really happy with those. I landed pretty much every one I attempted today, and I didn't have to start doing them on grass just to get used to them. It was just straight on the concrete, doing them, landing with my feet both in the right place, pretty much bolts most of the time. So I'm very happy with my progress on that. That is absolutely a new trick that I've learned, and not even one that I could do back in the day when I was sort of skating mini ramps a lot. Frontside pop shove-its, they're getting better. I got pretty close to getting both feet on my stationary ones, which I think that's a bit of progress, and even a little bit close to getting both feet on one of the moving ones, maybe one or two of those. But it's still not comfortable landing on those because it's going behind me. I'd much prefer it if it stayed underneath me a lot more than what it does. But I've got to work out how to get it to do that. I wasn't too impressed with my attempts at heel flips here. I feel I've been doing those better in earlier episodes, but it's just a case of timing on those, I think. I seem to be trying to flip them before I've finished my pop more often than not. And when I do get the pop and flip right, I'm sort of going forward with my front foot so that I deliberately am trying not to land on it. So just got to overcome that. And kickflips for this episode, I was pretty happy that I'm not double flipping those now. That was a real issue a couple of episodes ago. And I don't think I did anything particularly different other than trying not to flick as hard and trying not to think of kickflips as being that big of a trick or that difficult of a trick. It is one of the basic tricks after all. And I did actually get close to having both my feet on the right side of the board, although I wouldn't call any of the ones that I got close on a land by any means. A land for me is both feet on, all four wheels on the ground. That's where I'll leave it for this episode. 2 more to go. I don't know if I'm going to fully learn all of these tricks by episode 10, but I feel I have made progress with my skating regardless. I'll leave it there. I hope you got something out of this if you watched it all the way through to the end, and if you did, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next second Sunday skateboard session, which will be episode 9. So, bye for now. I can't actually land a fakey 180 kickflip, but back in the day it was one of the closest kickflips that I got that I could almost land consistently. So I was just giving it a go, see if I still had them. I should say, when I say consistently, it was like almost land consistently, so I'd often land it like that, but never both feet on. But I had the board control for it. I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't have a big bag of flat ground tricks, so I just thought I'd add a few attempts of something different onto the end of this episode, just so you can see that I'm not just all about those 7 Braille skateboarding made simple tricks. So thanks for watching this far, and I'll see you next second Sunday.